In the heart of a dense, whispering forest, a group of 5 friends, Sarah, Jake, Mia, Tom, and Leela set out for a weekend camping trip. Excited for adventure, they packed their gear, unaware of the darkness lurking just beyond the trees. As night fell, they stumbled upon an imposing structure, half hidden by twisted vines and shadows, an ancient castle, its stone walls crumbling yet proud. The air grew thick. The temperature dropped, and a sense of foreboding enveloped them. Jake, ever the daredevil, suggested they explore. What's a camping trip without a little thrill? He chuckled, but the nervous glances exchanged among the others hinted at their unease. Despite their reservations, curiosity pulled them closer. They pushed open the creaking doors, revealing a grand but decaying hall. Dust motes danced in the beams of their flashlights, and an eerie silence pressed in on them. The walls were adorned with faded portraits, eyes seeming to follow their every move. As they ventured deeper, the atmosphere shifted. Whispers echoed, just out of comprehension. Mia, feeling uneasy, suggested they leave. But Leela insisted on exploring the upper levels. What if we find something incredible? She urged, and they reluctantly agreed. Ascending the winding staircase, they reached a long corridor lined with more portraits. One painting caught Leela's eye, a woman with hollow eyes and an expression of sorrow. As she reached out to touch the frame, the temperature plummeted and the lights flickered ominously. Suddenly, the whispers intensified, now clear enough to understand. Leave this place. Ignoring the warnings, Leela pressed on, drawn to a door at the end of the hall. Behind it lay a dimly lit chamber filled with strange symbols etched into the walls. In the center stood an altar, adorned with remnants of past rituals, candles burned down to stubs, and an unsettling doll with cracked porcelain skin. A shiver ran down Sarah's spine as she sensed a powerful, cursed energy radiating from the altar. Suddenly, Tom screamed. He stumbled backward, pale as a ghost, pointing at the walls. Dark shadows twisted and writhed, taking shape figures of despair trapped in an eternal loop. "We need to go," he shouted, but Leela was entranced, drawn closer to the altar. As the group pulled her back, the whispers turned into a cacophony, a chorus of tortured souls crying out for release. The air thickened, and an unseen force pushed against them. Panic set in as the castle itself seemed to awaken, walls vibrating with rage. They fled the chamber, but the castle shifted around them. Doors that had been open now slammed shut, trapping them inside. Jake, always the one to take charge, tried to lead them back to the entrance, but the layout of the castle felt like a maze, twisting and turning unnaturally. In their frantic escape, they split up, each lost in a nightmare of their own. Sarah found herself in the dining hall, where the long table was set for a feast. But the plates were filled with rotting food, and ghostly figures sat silently, waiting for an invitation that would never come. She could feel their hollow stares as she backed away, heart racing. Meanwhile, Tom stumbled into a library, where books fluttered like trapped birds. Each opened tome revealed horrifying tales of those who had entered before, never to return. Shadows flitted between the shelves, whispering secrets of the cursed energy that bound them to the castle. Mia, wandering through a darkened corridor, felt icy fingers graze her neck. She turned, but no one was there. A mirror hung crookedly on the wall, and when she looked into it, she didn't see her reflection. Instead, she saw Leela standing in the altar room, her eyes vacant and pleading. "Help me," she whispered, but Mia could only watch in horror as the mirror shattered, shards scattering like the remnants of their friendship. As the friends searched desperately for each other, the castle seemed to relish their fear. Shadows morphed into grotesque figures, whispering their darkest fears back to them. Tom, now lost and terrified, could hear the faint cries of those who had come before, warning him to leave before it was too late. Finally, the group reunited in the main hall, their faces pale and eyes wide with terror. "We need to break the curse," Leela insisted, her voice shaky but determined. "We have to destroy whatever is on that altar." They knew it was a long shot, but staying meant certain doom. As they rushed back, the castle roared in protest, doors slamming shut and windows rattling. They reached the chamber, and with a shared resolve, they confronted the altar. Leela grabbed the doll, its eyes suddenly alive with malice, and tossed it aside. As it hit the ground, a deafening scream erupted from the walls. The energy surged, and they felt the weight of the souls around them. They shouted together, "We break this curse," and pushed forward, knocking over candles and disrupting the symbols. Light flared as the walls trembled, shadows writhing in agony. Just as the room began to collapse, a blinding flash engulfed them. When it faded, they found themselves outside the castle, gasping for breath beneath the starry sky. The castle stood silent behind them, the whispers now a distant memory. As they stumbled away, they swore never to return. But deep in the forest, the cursed energy lingered, waiting for the next group of unsuspecting souls to stumble into its trap. And in the shadows, the eyes of the portraits watched, eternally hungry for companionship in their haunted existence.